In 1978, the average Chinese person was poorer than the average person in Ghana, Kenya, or Nigeria. In fact, China was one of the poorest countries in the world. Most of its people lived in the countryside and worked as farmers. Their leaders were yet to discover what made their country so poor. But they knew something needed to change, so they came up with a plan. They would make their country a manufacturing powerhouse, then use that money to go digital. And today, just 45 years later, China is a global superpower. It controls tech companies and trade worth trillions of dollars. It has modern skylines, bullet trains, and factories that produce everything from phones to computers. It has built the world's largest digital economy in just 30 years. And it all happened so fast that most people don't even remember how poor China used to be. They only remember the before and the after. So here's the thing. What China did in the last 45 years, Africa can do in the next 20. We have everything we need to become the world's next powerhouse. All we need to do is copy China's strategy and apply it to our context. Here are 5 core lessons from China's story. Lesson No. 1. Plan for the long term. China's leaders didn't just come up with a plan for 1 year or 2. They planned for 20, 30, and even 50 years into the future. That's why when other countries were focused on building houses and schools in the 70s, China was investing in manufacturing. That's where they started. They wanted to produce things for export. And today, China exports more than $2 trillion worth of products each year. The lesson for Africa is clear. If we want to build strong economies, we must invest in sectors that bring in foreign exchange. And no, that doesn't mean mining and exporting raw materials like copper and cobalt. Those industries are struggling. We need to add value to those raw materials by processing them into finished goods. That's what China did. They took cheap materials from African countries like copper and turned them into iPhones and computers. That's how they made so much money. Lesson No. 2. Invest in manufacturing. Manufacturing is at the heart of any successful economy. It creates jobs, brings in foreign exchange, and makes a country rich. That's what China did. They invested heavily in manufacturing, and today they dominate the world economy. The question is, what can Africa make? We already have a lot of skilled workers who can produce high-quality goods. What we need to do is support them and help them scale up. Lesson No. 3. Go digital fast. One of the biggest mistakes that many African countries make is moving too slow. We don't want to wait until our economies are 10 times bigger to go digital. We can start today and make our economies 10 times bigger by going digital. That's exactly what China did. They went digital in the early 2000s, and today they are home to some of the world's biggest tech companies. China's digital economy is worth over $6 trillion. That's bigger than the GDP of France. The lesson here is clear. We can't afford to wait any longer. We must go digital now if we want to build strong economies. Lesson number 4. Support entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of any economy. They create jobs, pay taxes, and drive innovation. That's why China invested so much in its entrepreneurs. They gave them the tools they needed to succeed, and they scaled up quickly. We can't do the same. We must support our entrepreneurs and help them grow. When they succeed, we all succeed. Lesson No. 5. Build smart cities. Cities are the engines of economic growth. They are where jobs are created and businesses thrive. That's why China invested so much in building smart cities. They connected their cities through high-speed rail and made them more livable. Today, China has some of the smartest cities in the world. The lesson here is clear. We must invest in our cities. We must make them more livable and create more opportunities for people to work and do business. In conclusion, China's rise has been nothing short of spectacular. In just a few decades, it has gone from being a poor agricultural country to the world's second largest economy. The key to China's success has been its ability to learn from others and adapt those lessons to its own context. China is proof that if you invest in your people and give them the right tools, they will succeed. That's why I believe that Africa can do the same. We have everything we need to become the world's next powerhouse. All we need is to copy China's strategy and adapt it to our context. We can't afford to wait any longer. Our time is now. Will we rise to the challenge, or will we miss the moment? This is the host with Learn Africa TV, and if you want to see the full story, you can watch it on our channel.